Welcome back to Jersey Matters. You can make a difference in someone's life if you just take the time to care. Our next guest is testament to that. Jeff Mayerson is special needs champion and inclusive basketball league pioneer. That's quite a title. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Larry.
So let's start from the beginning with your story. It started 5 years ago. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, my oldest son, Brett, was shadowing a boy at the JCC in a basketball league who had special needs. He was on the spectrum. And he was frustrated that this boy wasn't getting a great experience, meaning he wasn't really engaged in the game, he wasn't touching the ball.
Because of the other kids were ignoring him?
It's not so much that they were ignoring him, he just wasn't really where he should be. The other kids wanted to win, so they weren't trying to get him the ball to that point. So he asked me to come and watch. I've coached both my boys in basketball while they were growing up. I've coached some AAU teams. So he said, come,
You
Dad.
played at Livingston, right?
I grew up in Livingston. I played basketball in Livingston and baseball.
Where was this happening, though?
This is in Scotch Plains. I've been living in Scotch Plains for 20 years.
And from that experience, after you went there, where did that take you?
So afterwards, he said, Dad, what did you think? And I said, I think if we can get him in a gym with kids like himself, we can really make a difference and help them and give them a great experience. So I said, are you willing to do this with me? You know, he was a freshman in high school. So he said, yes. And then my younger son.
Oh, you had to be proud of that answer.
Very proud. And my youngest son said, I want to help too. And my wife said, I want to help. And my wife knew of this school that was in Plainfield that just moved to a brand new, beautiful building in Scotch Plains and said, you should reach out to the Newmark School to see if they have any programs like this and if you can start one. So I did, and I met with the founders of the women of the Newmark School, Regina and Cindy, who started this program, played college basketball actually as well. And make a real long story short, they said, this is an amazing idea, but who the heck are you and what's your training? And I gave them my training, and I did not have any kind of training working with special needs children. So they said, before we unleash you and try this, we need to put you through some training. So I did some shadowing with their phys ed teachers, a couple hours, here and there.
What did you learn from the training?
How to communicate with the kids. Some kids, I'm a big teddy bear, so I have a big heart, so I'm like too easygoing sometimes. You have to be strict. You have to,
Like a regular basketball coach.
Like a regular basketball coach.
It's the same experience.
Yes, which is why I love coaching basketball, because when I coach basketball, I'm strict. But in the home, my kids can get over on me once in a while.
Are you just as strict with these kids?
You have to be. Some of them, yes. Some of them, you can,
like a regular
soft.
team.
Exactly.
Exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Before I talk about where this went and where you took this, I want to get two answers. First, what it did for the kids and what it's done for you and your family. For the kids, why is this important to them? Did they change? Because there's some people that would argue you isolated them. You took them away from a regular experience. What did they get out of it?
So a lot of things. I'll start with one. I say I use basketball as the vehicle for socialization training. So being in a gymnasium in a group of kids, you can only imagine the noises, how loud it can be. So they, some in the beginning, some of them were very, upset. They just didn't know how to deal with it, and then they over time they got better and better and better. But also learning a skill. A lot of these kids have really great abilities, and if you give them the chance and give them the tools on how to learn those skills, they can. So to your point earlier about isolating them, I noticed that some of these kids were getting better and better at basketball over time. So I used to run a league for all my volunteers, kids I used to coach when they were little, that now were in high school and they wanted to continue to play basketball, but they ran out of some options of where to play. So I went to these kids and I said, I would like to put some of these kids on your team. Would you be interested in doing that? And they all jumped at it, to the point where they were requesting which kids would be on their team, and it was almost like a draft.
And the kids could play at that level?
So I was very nervous. The night before the first game, I swear I didn't sleep. I was so nervous someone was gonna get hurt. And towards the end of the first game, one of my better players who actually played high school basketball throws a no-look pass that's going right towards the face of one of the special needs kids. He picked up his hands, he caught the ball, shot, and made the basket. And that's when I looked at the father went, whew. And that's when I knew this was gonna work.
And it's worked to what point? Where are you with it now?
When I started, I was getting about 15 to 18 kids a clinic. I'm now over 40 kids a clinic.
And you have
on
a summer.
Saturdays.
You have a summer
And
program.
in the spring and summer, I run my inclusion league. So the first league I had 6 teams. Last spring, I had 6 high school age teams, and I had 6 middle school age teams. And the middle school age teams, these kids were just amazing to me because I had some really high level travel basketball players, and their parents would tell me they would stay up late at night drawing up plays for their special needs kids on their team. And those teams had multiple special needs kids on those teams.
And I would imagine it gives the kids so much confidence, and it makes them feel just like everybody else, which is exactly what you want. But are you limited to your area right now? Would you like to expand this?
Yes, I decided to become a non-for-profit starting January 1st. I registered, I became a non-for-profit, and I'm doing a fundraising campaign now. So my GoFundMe just launched this week. And the reason why I'm raising money is I want to launch this program all over the country. So how do you do that? Let people know who I am and what our program can do. And then people can contact me and I can give them either grant money that I'm raising or more importantly, the equipment and the tools of how to do this.
So how do people find that online?
WolvesBasketballAcademy.com.
Well, great luck to you, and it's important work that you're doing. Way to go. That's great. And I'm sure you get just as much out of it as the kids do, if not more.
We do, we really do. It's my favorite day of the week is Saturday morning.
Jeff Mayerson, Special Needs Champion and Inclusive Basketball League Pioneer. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, another landfill, another community controversy. We'll explain when Jersey Matters continues.